3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me today, two fine fellas from Dot Foods. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Be here.
So we have John Moore and David Cook. And David, you are the senior warehouse manager, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And then John, you are a material handler in the warehouse.
Yes.
And you've accomplished something really cool recently, which we'll get to in just a second. But I do want to talk about the overall event, and that is the Forklift Rodeo at Dot Foods. Yeah?
Yeah, it's a cool event. It's a great opportunity that we capitalize on showcasing not only our culture, but of recognizing employees, but showcasing our skill set of our operators, like John here.
Yep.
And it's just a great event where we not only recognize local individuals at our Mount Sterling location, but we bring in our teams from all 13 distribution centers. So I think we had 62 participants this year in the event.
That's outstanding.
Which is cool for a lot of them. It's their first time travel. Some of them is first time, leaving their home state.
Sure.
And a vast majority of them is their first time coming to Mount Sterling, which is our corporate headquarters, and is really cool, exciting opportunity for them.
Yeah, it sounds really, really cool. So I was telling you before we hit go on the cameras that I had never heard of this before. So when I was looking at the press release, and there's a link on there that you can actually watch highlights from, I think it was the year before,
Yep.
because this has already taken place, right?
Correct.
And I got on there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So just to kind of give you an idea, and you can probably fill in the blanks here, you set up a bunch of like pallets, and people, forklift drivers, right?
Yeah, we're essentially setting up an obstacle course.
Yeah.
That they navigate that we use 4 pieces of equipment, 4 distinct types of equipment, and they navigate the obstacle course. You got
They throw some safety measures in there,
Yep.
operating your machine safely, along with dodging the obstacles. And
Yeah.
they add your penalties and your total time. And
So
best
what
time
are some
wins.
penalties? So you're cruising around in a forklift, or you got like a pallet jack or something, and you're cruising through this obstacle course. And what are some things that like ding you for points?
We really try to have a safety focus on this competition, because
Absolutely.
we're having a competition to showcase skills, but safety is our number one priority.
Absolutely.
So the penalties are really from a safety mindset. And so if you're navigating the course and you bump a cone, that can be a deduction. You got to mount the equipment properly, get on and off with 3 points of contact.
Stop and honk at intersections.
Yep. They carry a pallet with a basketball balance
Yeah,
on it, and so
saw that.
That basketball, that's to showcase a smooth operator. If the basketball stays on top, they successfully carried the load.
And yeah, either you can go fast and just try to have as few penalties as possible, or you can go smooth and clean like he says. And
Yeah. Because the basketball kind of represents product,
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
that you're carrying.
Yep.
So, yeah, you, of course, want to it's precision, safety, skill. I love it. So, speaking of skill, you're a back-to-back winner.
Back-to-back.
Right?
Yep, 23 and 24, baby.
Woohoo! That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's outstanding. So, how long have you been with Dot?
I started in 2003, and I went full-time in 2007.
And you are like the mecca when it comes to forklift driving, evidently, huh?
The myth, the man, the legend.
Yes.
I was there for the first contest in 2006, as far as I know, and I've been trying to get back there ever since.
So now how do you qualify for the forklift rodeo?
So each local distribution center has a regional competition. So everyone, like in the Mount Sterling, John works in the freezer. So everyone in the freezer that wants to can compete in the local kind of the qualifier.
Okay.
And then they take their top 4 operators on, 1 per equipment type, and then they qualify for the Grand National Rodeo.
That's outstanding.
And each distribution center does the same. So Burley, Idaho, Bullhead, Arizona, they all have their local, and then we fly them into St. Louis, and we have a big party for them on Wednesday night, and then we drive up to Mount Sterling and have the big show.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. So what do you get aside from bragging rights when you win this competition? Because amongst all these people, I mean, you really do, you're standing out, quite spectacularly, right?
Yep.
Okay, so aside from bragging rights, what do you get?
So it's pretty cool. You get a $2,500 vacation voucher.
Holy smokes. Okay.
And you can, for the most part, kind of choose your own trip and go through Dot's travel agent, and they will book a trip for you. And so last year I went to Japan.
Which blew me away. We get a lot of regional, local. Someone goes to, Cancun, something like
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
I remember asking John after he won last year. I said, John, you know where you're going to go? And he goes, Tokyo, Japan. And I was like,
Heck
holy
yes.
smokes,
Yeah, world traveler.
there
Was
you
that a
go.
bucket list item?
Yes, it was
That's
for the
awesome.
last 15 years.
Yeah, and they helped you get. That's so cool. I mean, of course, it wouldn't have been done without your skill and your attention to detail and ability to drive these material handling the equipment. But it's very cool that all of us kind of came together. And you talked about culture. I just
Yeah.
love the idea of this all coming together. Highlighting skills, showcasing, awesome talent. I think it's just very, very cool. So you got a trip. Is there a trophy? Is there something that you get to keep with you until the next year? Or
Yep, you get they trophy first through third place.
Okay.
And my 2 trophies are in the manager's office.
Cool.
So I just like to keep them there so everybody can see it
Yeah.
and motivate them to, compete the next year.
Yes. Very
I
cool.
haven't asked this question to him yet, but do you know where you're going from your winning this year?
I'm planning on Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
Well,
My dad's always wanted to go, and I'm going to try to get him to go along.
Oh, my gosh.
He's a big war buff, and I feel like he's really excited to go see Pearl Harbor.
He's rooting for you at home.
yeah,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They got their own track set up in the backyard. They're like, listen,
Oh, yeah.
we're winning
Yeah.
this year,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah,
That's
he's
awesome.
taping
yeah.
one hand behind his
Yeah.
back. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's very, very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love the culture. I love the idea. And of course, this year's has passed. But if someone wants to get involved in next year's Forklift Rodeo, you guys are always hiring, right?
We're almost always hiring,
Yeah.
and the timing of the Forklift Rodeo I think is really great because it kind of launches. We build our staffing to prepare for fall volume. So fall is our peak volume, and so right now we're really beefing up our staffing plan to get folks on and ready when that volume does come. And so we have hiring events every Monday in Mount Sterling.
Okay.
We're going to hire over 100 employees between now and the fall to get
Okay.
prepared for that volume. And so it's a great way to showcase, who we are, how we recognize employees, how we treat employees. And so all they need to get ready for the competition next year is come apply.
Yeah, go to the job fairs, go to the events, and figure out what Dot Foods is all about. It sounds like it's awesome. I know a little bit about Dot Foods just because it's local, and you guys are pretty well known, right? You're a staple in the community, which is awesome. But you pay really, really well, and you have different jobs available, right? So it's warehouse, but you talked about cold. I don't know if you call it hot. What do you call the other
Dry,
side? Dry.
ambient.
Okay.
Refrigerated.
Okay.
Yep.
But then drivers, I noticed, the pay is, it's outstanding. So when people are talking about head of household jobs, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah,
Right?
I think Dot offers, when people always ask me what I like about Dot or why I choose to work at Dot, there's a lot of things that we talk about, and you'll hear us talk about culture a lot, which we've highlighted a lot here, but culture doesn't pay the bills.
Right.
And so our benefit package is extremely competitive, and we really look at the total package, not just your pay, but our bonus package, our incentive-based pay, insurance
stuff.
plan, fun stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, our drivers, I think our average customer delivery driver earns $108,000 a year.
crazy, yeah.
And that's, it's a tough job, but that is that's a really good package.
Yeah, I would say so. And yeah, fun. And you guys have great parties and events just to, show your love to your employees. And I think it's just outstanding. I think anybody would be lucky to work for a company like Dot. Especially this fella over here who gets some trips and some trophies and
Yeah. Well, I do it for my buddies. I've worked with Dave for 15 years.
Oh,
and
really?
When we meet down in St. Louis, the office people are down there, and some of my old buddies I used to work with, Kevin Dearly or Dodson, we have a good time down there, and
Yep.
they get me amped up for that next day to drive back and
Yes.
compete. Because it's, it might be some rough nights down there, but
yeah.
competition day,
Curfew. Inbound
It's
by
time.
10,
I was
right?
going to ask.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty brave to have this party right
No.
before this rodeo. No, but it sounds like an amazing time.
those guys like it, and we like it in the warehouse, and it's just all around a good thing.
Yeah, that's
There's
all
a
that
lot
matters.
we didn't talk about it, but there's a good healthy competition between all the locations.
Oh, I
so
bet.
we give away a overall location champion. So
Yeah.
they take every all 4 of their participants, and they group them into a one team, and then so we give away an overall champion too. And Idaho won this year. Congrats to Idaho!
Yay, Idaho!
But it's always really fun, and there's a lot of handshakes going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. That's very, very cool. Friendly competition, building up that culture, and of course, supplying everyone around this area with the foods and, stuff that we need. So that's kind of, that's what you do, right? So we're talking about all this fun stuff. Give us, in a nutshell, what Dot is, in case somebody, by any chance, doesn't know.
Yeah, it's a great question, and we get asked, what do you do all the time? We see your trucks out on the road, and we are a food redistributor.
Okay.
So we're buying product from suppliers, manufacturers, and we're buying in full truckload quantities. We're bringing it back to our facilities, and then we're selling it to distributors, and we're selling in less than truckload quantities. So those distributors, you would see like Kohl's, Amcon, where they're making the then final delivery to restaurants, gas stations, hotels, schools, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and strongly based in family, right?
Yep.
So I don't know, the original. I'm sure you do the founders, right? And then you still have family working within the company generationally?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always laugh because we always talk about it as a family business, and I always joke about that there's 2 different angles to the family business. There's a family that owns the business, so the Tracy family is incredibly generous, and they are committed to the community, and they give back in tremendous ways. But I always laugh about the family aspect too, because I give a lot of tours, and almost every time I walk by my mom, she works there.
Oh my gosh.
I say hi to my mom.
Yeah.
And my brother's an engineer for us, and so there's a family business within the family business.
It's a total family
which creates
affair.
a really cool environment.
That is very, very cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. And if you're interested in learning more about Dot Foods, where would they go?
They would go to dotfoods.com.
Yeah, there you go. And I would say get out there, get some more information on these jobs, and get in on this forklift rodeo. I want to come as a spectator sometimes. So.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
To.
Okay.
It was a big event this year. I bet we had 100 to 200 spectators circling through. We have bleachers set up and a stage. And
families come in, office workers come down.
Yes.
Workers stop and watch.
That's awesome.
It's a big, exciting deal.
Yes, it sounds like it, and hopefully I get to come check it out next year. That'd be awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, would love it. Thank you guys so much. Good luck and safe travels back to Mount Sterling, and good luck and continued success, right?
Yeah, right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Yep. Coming up next, Ron Kinscherf sits down with Saliva to talk about the Gem City Concert Series. Stay tuned.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Kelly's has been a fun place to eat and drink in Quincy since 1982. A fun and friendly atmosphere, food with flavor, homemade cinnamon rolls, and famous cheese soup, the best menu in town. Kelly's, 2902 Broadway, Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Hi, this is Ron Kinscherf, Buddy River News. We have Bobby Amaru from Saliva with us. He'll be performing Saturday at the Gem City Rock Fest down by the river. And Bobby, first question, you probably get this all the time. How did Saliva come up with Saliva?
They said it was like they wanted like a one-word name, like something simple, just like just rolled off the tongue, not like a bunch of syllables, a bunch of words,
It's something simple that
yeah, just the one, like they wanted just a one-word name,
okay.
Like something that was like Kiss.
Okay, got it. So yeah. Were bands like that something that influenced these guys? I know you joined them in 2011. They'd already been rolling a little bit, but was that some type of influence? Is it the bands like Poison, Kiss, things along those lines?
I think they had all kinds of influences. Like, there's 5 dudes at one time, and they all listened to different things, and some of the same bands they probably liked too. But I know Wayne was into a lot of the old like classic rock stuff, like Randy Rhoads, and liked old Ozzy and AC/DC and all that stuff. And you're Van Halen. Van Halen was like a big one for Wayne too, So.
And you're talking about Wayne Swinney, who you guys lost last year on tour 2023, and you canceled your tour dates last year. So how hard has it been for you guys to come back and restart without him being on stage with you guys?
Well, at first, when something like that happens, you're kind of numb. You don't really know what to do. You're not really thinking about it. You're not thinking about like the shows or anything per se. You're just like, how do you get through that and losing someone like him was pretty tough. And you're like, but Wayne was such a big personality. Like, he was a great dude, and how he felt and about us moving forward, and he was always the type of person like, don't let me stand in the way or of anything. Like, anytime he was like sick or something, and he'd call me, hey man, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to make the show tonight, dude, can you call the kid? And it was like, we already had like a backup guy on speed dial for him for certain shows, because he did have asthma and stuff, and he would have some issues every now and then with getting sick. He got sick more than anyone I ever met. Like, he'd be sick 15 times a year. It's like, I get a cold or get sick once a year maybe, but that's the thing. He had those the compromised lungs, and so he would just get more things. But he was more than anything, he loved being on stage, and he loved touring, and if he were alive, I mean, that's what he'd do till the day he died. It's when if he was here today, we'd be coming to Quincy. That's how he was. So so is it? I mean, taking the stage that first time without him being there, was it really a struggle for you guys, or was it more of a celebration of his life? Well, every show is like, that you're celebrating his life, and you wish that he were here. That's it. And you, but that this is what he would have wanted, and we know that, and I know that, and he and I we shared, 12 years. I mean, I've been in the band now in my 13th year, and we shared 12 of those years, and he we had several conversations, all kinds of conversations, all kinds of times of the day or night, and I really got to know him and a lot through those years, and we spent a lot of time together and I know that coming back and doing the band like the way I want to do it was I know he's okay with that, So you mentioned the way you want to do it, but how much of a collaboration is it when you guys put songs together? Does one person generally take the lead, or is it everybody's getting their 2 cents in all the time? Well, we haven't really done anything. I mean, I've got a lot of songs already done, and we have a lot of songs that we had done already. Like when we did the last record, the Revelation record, we started writing in 2020.
Okay.
We ended up with like 34 songs, and then we picked 12. So there's still a lot of material that Wayne's on and part of, and so we're thinking about doing like a repackage where we'll release the record, re-release it, and add some new songs to it.
How hard is it though to pare down from 33? Because they got to be all like your babies, right? You pour your heart and soul into those 33 and then you down to 12.
Dude, you'd be shocked because I mean, there's some songs in there that you're like, oh man, how can we not put this on the record, you know? But then you're like, well, it's almost like saving some for a rainy day, you know, and like, because some of them are really good, and a lot of times it's about where you are in that moment when you write something, and does it feel right to go on this record? Like, is the timing right, or is it not? And you'll just wait and release it when the time is right. But there are a lot of songs that still nobody has heard, and we did a whole covers record too. That some really cool stuff on there, man. That we may drop that, you know, just trying to figure it all out.
So are the covers a part of your set when you're going to be in town?
Well, I mean, we do a couple things that are fun, like in the set, but the covers record that we did, we just did it all during 2020, 2021, like the whole like COVID shutdown stuff. We just recorded a lot and wrote a lot. So we just did a lot of things, and we were, you know, Wayne and I were super ADD when it comes to, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. Oh, wait, maybe we'll put this out, you know? And so it's all over the place on what we did, but we did record a lot of material and stuff in that time. So there's still a lot of things.
You know, talking about the covers kind of leads into something I want to ask you about. If you could put yourself in any band at any time over the course of history, where would you put yourself?
Man, you know, I don't know. Maybe like, I mean, because there's a lot of bands that I loved, you know, growing up and stuff. You know, I loved a lot of the 80s stuff into the 90s, like Alice in Chains. I love that band. And man, that'd be a good one. Someone like that. But then I'd be afraid that I you know, dabble in a lot of shit that I probably shouldn't. But, you know, if I'm really talking history, though, I mean, maybe like Sabbath or like the Beatles or something, you know, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So what I think is interesting is obviously
who are the richest bands? Rolling Stones. Give me that.
There you go. But I think what's interesting about bands like Saliva, you know, you're generally a harder rock type band, but your influences aren't necessarily all from that type of genre.
No, well, because the things that influence them and that influence us,
right?
You know, are generally, you know, their influences when you're a kid and you get into music and you kind of grow and go into different, you know, types of music and different genres, different bands. That's why music's so great. I mean, you can connect with, you know, I like to connect with great songs. Doesn't matter who it is, you know?
Well, with that in mind, is there a song when you first heard it, you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have wrote that. That is so damn good.
That's easy. Something like Wonderwall, Oasis, like a song like that, where, you know, it's just front to back. In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins, that's another one that like anytime I hear it, I just go, man. And, you know, he says he wrote it in 5 minutes, which it's like hard to believe, but that's, you know, sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you can write a song in 5 minutes, and they say some of the greatest ones ever written were like that. So.
Yeah. The one thing I notice with you guys is you have a pretty large social media following, and you guys sell VIP passes where they can come and meet you. And, you know, does it still kind of shock you that there's people out there that want to come talk to you? I mean, you're just a bunch of guys playing music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It shocked me because I don't know. I mean, I'm very, like, I love being on stage and performing and stuff. And it's like kind of like a light switch, but you know, I feel like I'm pretty boring other than that, like to have a conversation with, but I mean, I talk to everybody. So anyone comes up to me, and I think I'm pretty approachable, and
Yeah.
you know,
So how
like a
big?
normal guy. This
Yeah.
is what I look like. This is what I
Yeah.
wear, so.
How big of an influence were your parents with what you got going on?
Well, growing up, like my dad was in bands and stuff,
Okay.
like in the 80s. And then Hugo, like Hurricane, we lived in Charleston, and Hugo had like wrecked our, city and neighborhood. So we moved to Florida, closer to hurricanes, it was cool. So moved to Florida, grew up here. And my dad he kind of got out of music, and then just did the dad thing. And my parents were heavily influencing when it come to, I was a drummer, so I wanted to be a drummer, and learn how to play drums, and had a drum kit like early on at early age, and just started getting good at that, and getting into local bands and stuff. And my parents were always there, wearing the t-shirts and supporting. And so I had a very, very good support, family, supported and stuff. And my aunts and granny and all of them, they were all about it. It's
That's
cool.
cool.
So.
But now you're kind of in a reverse role, because your daughter apparently is very talented and has gone on stage with you guys and played. She's what, 9 or 10 years old?
No, she's 12. She'll be 13.
She's 12 now. Okay, so she'll
be 13 in a couple weeks.
So now you're the dad with her.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of aspirations she has as a career and all that. So is that kind of a little unique situation for you to be in now?
Dude, she's got a record deal, bro. She's like
She
doing
does?
things.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
she's like she just got done doing her EP with Howard Benson out in California, and she's about to shoot 2 music videos, July 1st and 2nd, with a dude who's done like all kind of big shit. Like, it's cool. So we're like, she's moving right now, doing stuff. A lot of the social media following that we have on TikTok and all that. I mean, yeah, it's in my name, but it's because you can't have TikTok until you're 13, and they would just ban her account, So we've been just funneling it through my name, but most of those followers are for her. I know. I mean, they don't care about me.
As a dad, though,
And I'm all right with that.
As a dad, though, are you wanting to pump the brakes a little bit?
Well, we're just kind of we're taking our time. I mean, we're
Okay.
with everything. We've been kind of just slowly building this for a year now, and just trying to get her a little more prepared, and also move at her speed. Versus like, I think some people think, man, he must have do these videos with her like every day. No, it's not. Actually, that's not true. Like we'll take a set like day or two, and she'll just knock out a bunch of them, and then just do a bunch of videos for them. And then I just have content to post over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
That's how we do it, So she's still able to live and have her life, and, be a tween,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's it like? And I don't know if you go to sporting events and all that type of stuff, but your songs are played wrestling and ball games and all that type of stuff. So is it still like crazy for you to hear your stuff that, oh my God, that's my song. I can't believe this is where we're at right now.
I mean, I think a lot of that, just, you got to credit the original guys on that stuff. Like, when you think of Click Click Boom, and it is, I mean, that's the band, the brand is able to move forward because of those songs, and continue. It's a grind though. Like, I don't think we ever feel like oh man, here we are, we're on top of the mountain. There was a time where the band, I think, really felt like they were on top of the mountain, and then things they fell off the mountain very quickly. Things just kind of spun out of control. A lot of personal issues, a lot of things within the band.
But do you think
it's almost like
is that a maturity thing though, as you guys get older?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, obviously the older you get, the smarter you get, hopefully. And do you think that could have been the situation you guys were in? You maybe got too full of yourself and something along those lines?
I think maybe a certain someone got full of himself.
Okay.
And that's just ask anybody, and they would tell you that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got stories that would send people back to retirement. I'm telling you, dude, that would like that are scary to hear about. But it's not about that. It's about, how do you improve and how do you move forward? I mean, I'm no saint, and I did stuff I'm not proud of, and and I got sober, and you get sober, and then you realize there's more to life than negative energy, and more to life than music too. I mean, there's more. You have family, you got things that you're constantly trying to improve, on yourself. But I mean, I've always look at like, when I look at like the old stuff and the stories that I've heard, and so Wayne, had great stories. I would, you just kind of take that in, and some things you would hear, you would just be like, what? Like that would you guys would be completely canceled today, like, and the thing, that's what made music so also great about, back then, like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, was not a lot. There's no social media. There's no, like, there's not a camera on your face 24/7, so you're able to actually have this mystique and still be able to, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, I don't know what bands you grew up listening to, but in the 80s or 90s, you would never get near Steven Tyler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you can go on Google and find out his address, like how many wives he's had, and like, who he's, it's like, it's stuff like that. The mystique in rock and roll is just not what it used to be.
Well,
anymore.
thanks for spending some time with. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say there's some bands that still practice that do really well with it, and they have that thing, and like Sleep Token, or like, there's the Slipknots, and some bands keep that privacy and keep things as they can for the mystique. But anymore, a new band, it's like they all want you to lay out everything about you, up front in order to be accepted or not. But I got off the topic, but I was just going to say, back to, hearing songs like, Click Click Boom and WrestleMania things. People come up all the time, man. And I hear stories. I like to hear their stories, military people, about Click Click Boom being a song that they used, when they would do combat missions and stuff in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that. That's the coolest shit. It's so cool to hear those stories, because you're like, yeah, I'm a part of this brand that has that the grounding of that is incredible. So when you hear those stories, it's good. Then you hear the stories about the people discovering the band through WrestleMania, or through wrestling, through WWE, and like, which is why I suggested we start playing I Walk Alone a few years ago, was because of that. It's a song that people would come up all the time when we weren't playing it and say, man, I love that song. That's how I discovered the band. I wish y'all would have played that. Well, started playing it. And that's one of those songs that I will not take out of the set no matter what, because every night someone comes up and talks about that song. So, and it's, and it's funny because the band didn't even write that song. Vince McMahon's son did.
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, he wrote all those songs that those bands played. Like, and it was so they could keep all the publishing and keep all the royalties.
Wow. Okay.
And they would give the band the platform of, it's just free marketing, oh, hey, you're going to do this song and here you go.
Nuts.
But a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Quincy, Saturday night, Saliva. And Bobby, thanks for spending some time with us, and safe travels.
Yeah, man.
All right. Bobby Amaru with Saliva. This is Ron Kinscherf from Muddy River News. Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
And hopefully you have great travels and nothing happens to you guys on your way here, and enjoy your stay.
Thanks so much, Ron. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for Club Muddy. See you then.